Welcome to All in Adams, the official podcast of Adams County government, where we're all in for our residents, our employees, and our community. So whether you live here, work here, or you just want to know more about what makes Adams County a great place to be, thanks for tuning in. We're all in, Adams.
Welcome into another episode of the All in Adams podcast. My name is Carson Forsman. I am a communications supervisor with Adams County, and we have Zoe Ocampo, our cultural arts manager, joining us again for another episode. Zoe, welcome into the studio. Thanks so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We just kind of want to go through, we were talking off camera a little bit of all the projects you guys have going on. Definitely a busier season for the cultural arts team, and we want to let our residents know what you all are up to. Let's start out with the first project that just currently got wrapped up is the Coroner and Probation project. Talk about that and what you had going on there at that facility.
Yeah, we just finished. We were working on this actually for a long time. We did a call for entry several years ago, and local artist Annette Coleman won the award. And there were two large pillars in front of both entrances to the probation office and the coroner office, the locations in Brighton. And the building is it's a sort of very clean lines, brick building, very simple design. And these beautiful hand-cut glass mosaics really sit in the entryway to both of the different offices and tell just a really beautiful story. One is called Discovery and one is called Hope. And they really indicate what's happening in the building. So Hope in front of the probation office is all about really the support networks that people have around them. And Annette used thousands of pieces of hand-cut glass, all different colors. The pieces are 25 feet tall. You can see them from a distance, and they glow at night. They're absolutely gorgeous and really add a lot to the offices as well as the neighborhood in general. There's residential and schools, a Boys and Girls Club right across the street. So there's a lot happening in this area, and we're really proud to have an Annette Coleman, two Annette Colemans in the Adams County Public Art Collection.
How many pieces, glass pieces? Talk to me about that process. That's got to be quite the process to put together that piece, right?
Yeah, it really is. So the design process, we go back and forth and it's sort of all digital, and then the glass is selected. And Annette, basically, the pillars are so large, but everything is hand installed. So before she gets out onto the site, she does them in sections. So she had just layers and layers of sections, and she'll go through and hand cut them and sort of fit them together. They're very serpentine shapes, and there's a lot happening. There's the DNA helix is what wraps around the coroner pillar. And so she just creates all of these different panels and then gets out on site and then gets up on a lift and hand mortars each individual piece. It takes many weeks to do the installation. We bridged a little bit from weather. We couldn't quite finish it last year. So we just wrapped it up this year, and it feels very handmade. And that's what makes it so incredibly beautiful is just this glass feels, it just has the warmth of a human touch, and it's just absolutely stunning. And it will last for a very, very long time. The way that the glass is installed with the mortar, it's very professional.
What a cool piece. I get, maybe not cool is the word, but you think about the people walking into those facilities, right? The coroner, maybe they just lost a loved one, probation, maybe they're getting some services there. And what a cool way to walk into there and have that vibe, if you will, right?
Yeah. I think when we were originally doing the work, there were a lot of discussions about, with the artist selection panel about what people wanted to see. And ultimately the idea of having something really warm like glass and really and the warmth of something that was human made versus something that felt a little more like metal or something, when you think about materials, it was really intentional to create that.
And you just recently with Annette is her name, correct? The artist, you had a meet and greet. How did that go?
Oh, it was great. We had, Annette has a connection to the Girl Scouts. And so she had them come out and they guessed how many glass pieces were in the mosaics.
You remember
themselves.
The total number?
I do not. I'm sorry. I think it was like,
putting you on the spot.
It was about 2,000 per pillar. And we had some kids from the school next door and just a really great community came together, and it was wonderful. And Annette did a little sort of a show and tell and how she
That's
actually
awesome.
cuts glass and a little bit more about her process.
Cool. So if residents, you want to check that piece out, it's in Brighton at our corner and probation
Right off
facilities,
19th.
right off 19th Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Go check that out. Let's move on to the next project, which if you're driving along 120th, you will probably see it in action, right? It's the
Yes.
Riverdale Animal Shelter Water Tower Mural.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool piece.
It is. It is amazing. And you can see it from 120th, Riverdale, 124th when you're coming up Park Boulevard. It's really just this real beacon for the area. You know, Riverdale Regional Park is the county's crown jewel. It's, you know, one of the only regional parks in the area. And this water tower sits outside the animal shelter. And it's also sort of the gateway into the park. So we had, again, an open call for artists, and local artist Beamer Torres won the award for that. And his design is absolutely beautiful. It's all about the connection of humans to the land. And so he's depicting two women, an elder and a younger woman, that are connected through time and space, through a ribbon. They were members of the Atomi tribe, and the piece really depicts this beautiful embroidery that's really traditional to the tribe, that's very meaningful to the artist and the artist's roots. And Beamer actually lives really right around the corner. So he's very
That's
much
amazing.
a local artist. And so it's wonderful to be able to have him in our community and really creating something that is just going to be absolutely gorgeous. It's a very large installation, and it will take another few weeks, but we're hoping to wrap it up by the end of summer.
That's amazing. And I know he had some students help him as well. That was exciting. Can you share a little bit about that and their experience helping the artist with that?
Yes, we had, I think it was 9 students. There was an application process, and Beamer it was a one-day workshop, but it was all about how to be a public artist. So really it was teaching the kids how to install, safety, how to handle being on site with their PPE, and techniques for spray painting, what it's like. And I think the kids really got an understanding of the fact that, you know, you can be a working artist. This is a absolutely wonderful career path, and there are many ways to approach it. And I think it was very inspiring for the kids. And they were all out there on site, and now they're really connected to the community in this way.
We have another large mural as well. And correct me if I'm wrong with that, but it's a mural off 58th Street, which is near North Washington in Adams County. That one's in progress as we record this podcast in July right now.
Yeah.
Tell me about that piece too, because that's another big one that
it is.
When you drive through, you'll notice it.
Yeah, we have so many amazing projects. It's wonderful to be able to talk about them a little bit more in depth. That project we worked on for many years, working with Public Works as they started to do the infrastructure work out on 58th between Washington and York. And they did infrastructure improvements, pedestrian safety, some stormwater, all sorts of things that were really for safety and the work to do it. And they had to install a retaining wall. And so we worked with them. Instead of doing more of a standard corrugated form liner, we worked with them to really create this blank canvas for us, because we knew we wanted to install a piece of art there. So the mural is actually 308 feet long. It's huge, and it's really it's in a very industrial area, and we were really inspired by the location. You know, all of our pieces very much have to do with where they are, the community they serve. It's all very site specific, and it's community specific. And this one we were particularly inspired by. It's sort of this nexus of transit. It's, you know, there are roads and highways, and, you know, there are train tracks and all sorts of things. There's also the river is right there. And it's this really interesting area that really is about transit. And so we really wanted to explore the idea of the origins of street art and how the origins of graffiti. And when we think about Southwest Adams County and how much of the environment is really based in this, it's a gateway into Adams County. And again, we did a local call. And so the artists that applied were all from the area. We had a unanimous award for Jolt and Coco with Gorilla Garden. And Jolt and Coco, to hear them really tell the story of their family and growing up in this area and what it was like to be a kid, you know, sort of on the outskirts of the city and living in this area, was very much inspiring to think about how it created them as artists, how artists are born from these areas and what their art form actually looks like. And so the piece is really rooted in graffiti. And so it was really fun to do something a little more, interesting, a little less typical and more unexpected. I think that, a lot of, we could have done a nature mural or something, but the area itself really was asking for something. So the idea is this wall is essentially a train car. So Jolt and Coco worked, again, we have community engagements, always a really big part of our project process. And they actually did a 7-week curriculum with kids from the Commerce City Boys and Girls Club. And it was similar a little bit to Beamer's work, but much more in depth. And they went out and met with the kids. They talked about the history of Chicano muralism, the history of graffiti, really started to have a conversation with the kids about who they were, what their community was to them, what it meant to them, the things that really inspire them, and really what things mean, right? So as they started thinking about the design, they worked in collaboration with this group of kids. And it was amazing to kind of watch it unfold. And I think as you start to see the mural design and you start to see the work go in, it's just got this incredible energy behind it, when you think about the future of our communities. And what really surfaced to the top when thinking about graffiti and words and the power of words was how can we use this mural to create positive energy in our community? So all the words on the wall are positive words, and they're bilingual. And so words like future or familia, heritage, health, beauty, things that really are meant to serve a very positive message. And then all of the detail in the mural is inspired by things that matter to the kids, whether it be textiles from their culture or pottery or, certain things like flowers and butterflies, all sorts of things. So there's sort of the distance and then there's the up close. And it's just been an amazing process. And we'll see this mural finish in the next couple of weeks. We're also going to do, we are filming a documentary short that really gets into the history of graffiti, the history of the area,
Cool.
This project in particular, and just what kind of, how artists come about and the different types of work that they do. So it'll be a very dynamic project. We're really excited about it.
So go check that one out. That's 58th Street near North Washington and York. So check that out if you can. Let's move along because you also do a lot of work in our Eastern Plains, Eastern Adams County, and you have another project called Dust to Apples. What's that?
Yes. This is a project. It's really, it's been a long project. This was an artist-led development. We worked with artist Melody Epperson, who has personal family roots in agriculture, and she's really inspired by our connection to the land. And so she wanted to explore Eastern Adams County and the farms and the families that have grown up there, generational families that have farmed there. And Melody is gathering things from the land, just sorts of, flora and fauna and all kinds of things from the land that she's creating her own dyes and pigments. And then she'll paint a series based on, this idea of connection with the land from these very things that were collected. And so the series is beautiful. It will be displayed in the Taza Gallery downstairs.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say it's beautiful because it's not created yet, but her work is beautiful. And we know that it, the quality is so exquisite. And she's also working with alongside a photographer who's documenting all of this. So artist Jimena Peck is following Melody to the farms, documenting her process. She's also in studio with her, watching the process of how she creates all of these colors and the work that she does. And then there are also different community aspects. So Melody will go out to Welby Days and to Hometown Days in Strasburg. She'll be at a couple of our other festivals here at Riverdale Regional Park, and she'll really work with people to create their own watercolors using some of these dyes and pigments. So people will get a glimpse into her process and be able to create their own works of art.
That's such a cool interaction piece. And you mentioned it, but When do you anticipate that will be done and on display in the Taza Gallery, the Taza Coffee House, which is at the Adams County Government Center in Brighton?
Yes, so that will go in December, and it'll run through March of 26.
Awesome.
And so there are multiple components to that show, and I think it will be really a wonderful exploration of the land. Melody's also taking some fabric and she's burying it in the ground and letting the earth dye it, and then she'll hang that. And so there'll be dimensional work as well as 2D pieces on the wall. And yeah, it's amazing when you think about the work that we are able to do with how many diverse communities we have, from incredibly urban projects like 58th all the way out to the Eastern Plains, and kind of everything in between. So yeah, it's wonderful. We have some wonderful projects right now.
Let's end with the Poet Laureate, because there's a couple different pieces that we can touch on here. Kind of sad, right? Carrie Joy, she's coming to the end.
Yes.
She's been so great the last couple of years. But where does that project stand? I guess first let's start with the anthology piece to this, because we did mention it on the last time we had you on. Where does that kind of stand in that process?
Well, we have many submissions, and the jury is out right now. They are going through all of the I think we had well over 100 poets and poetry submissions, works from everyone in the community, people who really were connected to Carrie Joy, were very inspired by her. We had youth, we had golden agers, we had everybody in between. It was amazing to see the outpouring of people who submitted to this. So the selection process is happening right now, and then we will start doing the design and the layout of the book. It's also a collection of photography, so we're working through the curation of that. Again, incredible submissions. So that will come out later this year, probably definitely after Carrie Joy. She wraps up at the end of August. Her last event is August 16th. So there's one more chance that everyone can get out and see her. It's another Unstudied, which is a really cool sort of event that's got an open mic. It's got performances by Carrie Joy as well as featured poets and featured artists. There's always music and food and just really good community building. So it's free and it's open to the public. It's Saturday, August 16th. I think it starts at 5:30 and it's at the Anythink Wright Farms.
Go check it out. Carrie Joy, her last performance with Adams County will be exciting. You definitely want to check that out.
There might be, I don't want to promise anything.
Okay, yeah, don't.
But if you go, you might get a sneak peek at the next Poet Laureate. They might show up to
Which is what I was going to ask you next.
For the open mic.
Right. Where does that stand? Have we selected one yet?
We have.
When do we plan to maybe announce that, or when can residents look out for some announcements?
Yes,
for
we
that?
will. We have our new Poet Laureate. We're working through contracting right now and doing all this sort of behind the scenes stuff. They are very, very excited. They have some really amazing ideas to take everything that Carrie Joy built and just, keep it going. So we will make that announcement in the fall.
Exciting.
And their residency will really kick into gear at the beginning of the year. The public programming will start.
Wow. I can see you getting excited.
I know. It's exciting.
The anticipation is real. All right.
Yeah.
Well, we will look out for that announcement this fall. Zoe, so much going on, right, with you and the team, and we appreciate you coming in. We'll have to have you back and follow up on all these projects and check out some of the videos that our team puts together with. We do a lot of work with the cultural arts team. Check out our YouTube channel, Adams County Government, and we'll have some updates there as well. And obviously social media, check us out. And
yes, it's actually great. I think we do we're very into the process, right? So like what our artists are doing and how they're doing it, their work in the studio, their work in the community. So social is always a great place to sort of get a little bit more insight into the why or what exactly they're doing. And then of course we have our Artfully Adams newsletter where we go into depth a little bit more with some of our projects. And then of course all the videos that we work with you guys too. Got quite a few of those floating around.
You keep us busy, which is good.
We do, yeah.
We love it. All righty, Zoe, we'll have you on soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for this episode of All in Adams. Thank you for joining us as we explore the people, programs, and the policies that make Adams County a great place to live, work, and thrive. If you enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends, neighbors, and colleagues. Have a topic you'd like us to cover? Let us know. We're all in for bringing you the stories that matter most. Until next time, Take care of each other and stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, and X. We're all in Adams, and we're all in for you.